My name is John Maura, Jr. I grew up in Manhasset, New York. My father came from a town in Italy, Ceccano, Italy, and my mother came from the region of Le Marche, Castelplano, Italy. We resided in Manhasset since I was born November 12, 1947. Ended St. Mary's School until 7th grade, and then I went to Eastern Military Academy for 1 year and returned to Manhasset High School and graduated from Manhasset High School in 1965. I moved to Port Washington when I got married in 1978. I was president of the John Michael Marino Lodge during the years 2005, 2007. Prior to that, I was recording secretary and served as trustee on Proud Italian, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful tour of duty. I am John Maura, and this is my Italian story. My grandfather originally came here in the early 20s. We don't know exactly the date, Michelangelo Mora. But he ended up here because he didn't like working in the coal mines, because they went to Scranton first. That's where the work was. And he didn't like the coal mines, so he came over here to work in the gardens because he had friends. My mother was born here in 1923. You know, my grandparents, the Pier Giovannis, they had a little garden center on Northern Boulevard. And they started it with a retail store, but they did a little bit of everything. They had flowers, they had fruits and vegetables, sodas. When my father came in, he was a teenager. That was either 1939, 1940. They came right to Manhasset because my grandfather and my uncle, Mario, were already here. And my father, when he got here after 6 months, was drafted into the Army. And he spent 4 years in Alaska, in the Barry, Alaska, and the last frontier. Became Master Sergeant there. He was in charge of the kitchen. He had a wonderful time and made a citizenship there while he was in the service. But we heard about Alaska a lot.
Did you get to be part of the business, or was it just kind of, your grandfather did it, your father did it, and now it's your turn?
Well, I felt it was my duty to do that, but yet, at the time, we grew up in the business. Again, the business was started in the 30s by my grandfather. Then Uncle Mario came in. They continued doing them when my father really got out of the service. And they literally started to grow. Maura Brothers Nursery. At one point, Tony DiStefano was partners with my father and uncle in business. And in 1953, when he got married, he opened his own business. And he had left Maura Brothers, but the first few years, whenever he came from the United States, he was partners with my father and uncle, Maura Brothers. I think, you know, the people, the Italians, they always believed in property. At that time, in the 50s, they saved their money. Even people coming from Italy, from work with my dad and uncle, as soon as they could accumulate enough money, they would buy a house.
So what was it like, the first generation Italian, growing up in Manhasset in the 1950s? You shared a little bit about it. What was it like for you growing up in the 50s?
Growing up Italian in Manhasset at my age, I didn't experience any dislikes and whatnot at that time. Most of the growing up years, as in St. Mary's, you develop friends and they teach you to love one another and to be friendly with everybody, and that's why we did it. We had all these things that we read in the paper, where we had a guy delivering beer to the house, a guy delivering bread, a guy delivering milk, a guy coming sharpening knives, and a good humor guy coming and selling ice cream at night at 6:30.
Have those traditions from Italy, were they still present in your house?
We still had our Sunday dinner. It was always at 2 o'clock. But my father was never home. They were always there at the nursery, the garden center. So Mom and I, until my brother Ron came in, were there most of the time ourselves. At Christmas Eve, it was at least they were working until 7 o'clock because they sold Christmas trees. And they were one of the first groups in Manhasset selling a lot of trees. We used to have, on the weekends, in the ridge growing up, my father and mother shared a house with the DiStefanos. That people would come to the house, and they had a big area of asphalt in front of the house. And on the weekends, all the people would come, who would bring a chair, who would bring a bottle of wine, who would bring some cheese and this, and they'd sit outside, and like the other guy they had musical instruments. They'd be playing outside in the yard growing up. It was a lot of fun, especially at winemaking time in the fall. a half a dozen of them down in this little basement downstairs, and they'd be squeezing away and pushing the bar and then to the vina and getting the last drop out. Oh, the party was after they left because I was the taster. I really got involved with the Sons of Italy later in life. In 1981, a lot of the people that I knew that I was friendly with, they would belong to the Sons of Italy. So I went down and I was part of one of the first feasts, right before the first feast. Then I went to the first couple of meetings, and it was not what I expected. I ended up with having 3 children within 3 years or 4 years. I had 3 children right away, so it was a lot of work. So I didn't have much time to go back and forth. Not until, again, back in '95, I went back to the lodge again. John Maura gave me the first job working with him. He did the coffee and pastries tent, but they had Italian ice. And it come to hard as a rock. And I could never scoop this stuff out. I had a line with 100 people in the line one day, and my sister-in-law says, "Look, John, you got a line." I said, "Oh, don't tell me that." I didn't know what to do. And I just kept shoveling away. So whenever they wanted to, they talk Italian ice. No, we're not doing Italian ice. And then from that point on, I started making my mark. I was recording secretary and served as trustee. And all of a sudden they came to me one day and said, "John, can you come down here? We want to talk to you." So I went down and they proposed for me to be president. With all their help and consideration, I said yes. I was president of the John Michael Marino Lodge during the years 2005, 2007, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful tour of duty. I couldn't have been doing what I was doing with the feast and that time, and even with the lodge, without the help of the lodge. You know, all the paisans, 100% behind me, and they all came to help without even asking. Everybody just show up.
When you see the lodge today compared to when you first joined, how have you seen it change? What are the changes that you've seen?
Well, now we're getting better. Seriously getting better. For a while, when stagnant, we couldn't get a president, and now you have new people coming in, and it seems to be moving nicely.
Quite a few of your children are involved in this organization as well.
My daughter, Christiana, who was at that time even my secretary in the office, she joined within this first year, I believe, was as president. We'd bring out the notes and we'd make the notes for the preparation of my meeting for the night. So that continued my whole presidency because she was there for the whole time. Jackie came in a little bit later, the younger daughter. She was the queen, lodge queen to my presidency. So she enjoyed it. They were both trustees. So I have 4 children. We were voted as Family of the Year. I don't know the exact date. We all went up to Villa Roma for the award.
Do you have grandkids?
I have 7. They're all beautiful kids. It's very nice.
Where did you get married?
I got married here in Port Washington at St. Peter's, May 14th, 1978. Gina. She's always a supporter, but never a member. I got a phone call from the rabbi from Temple Shabbat on Shore Road, and he says, "Oh, John, this is Rabbi Palatiel, 3 days before Hanukkah. So I have a problem." He says, "Well, your friend Peter DeJana told me to call you, that I need to erect the menorah." And Peter says, "Well, call John Maura, he probably can do it for you." We tackled it, my brother Ron, my son John, and we set up the first menorah at the train station. It was this huge thing. From that point, we were no longer known as Maura Brothers, we were now the Menorah Brothers. And every year we put in this menorah up every year. We had a wonderful relationship with them. I was an honoree to them as a dedicated citizen to the Shabbat. I got my little stone on the plaque in front of the walk. Yes, I'm part of the Manja Boys, yes. The Manja Boys was part of the Sons of Italy, and it was in existence before I came. They would select a restaurant. The Manja Boys was every couple of months we did get together.
Who were some of the other people that were in the Manja Boys?
At that time, Tony Stefano and Matt Carnaldisi, Henny Ainella, Joe Perricone, I've always felt the connection to Italy because my Uncle Mario always talks about Italy. And when we were kids, he used to say, "Oh, that's the other side." I mean, he always referred to Manhasset Bay, and if you go on the other side, you're in Italy.
Of all the things that you've done in your life, John, what are you the most proud of?
Most proud of?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. I think one of my most valued accomplishments is my countrymen went to their peers in Italy and they brought me back a plaque from the Comune di Ceccano in reference to my service to this country, to their country. And I have that at home. I'm proud of that I have a lot of good friends too. You know, and my wealth sometimes is more in my friends than what I have in my pocket. I couldn't ask for more because if I need something, I'm able to get it done.
And it's reciprocated, John. There are a lot of people that call you a very good friend, and you've always been there for them. So, you know,
It's nice to hear.